Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Road Atlanta for tonight's season finale of the Elite Sports Car Series. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight is, well, nobody. It says Chris Wright, but he is away this evening. Tonight's race, 90 minutes as always around this circuit. Let's take a look here at Road Atlanta and see what these drivers might be looking ahead to this evening. Of course, we head down to Braselton, Georgia to find Road Atlanta this evening. The track is, of course, 12 turns, 2.54 miles. And as you can see here on the track picture, as soon as they exit pit road, it immediately goes into a series of twists and turns, leading to some very interesting opportunities. And I took a couple laps this evening in a GT3 car leading up to tonight's event, and I found it really tough to see from inside the car. So the driver's definitely going to be fighting visibility this evening, as well as, well, racecraft ability, if that's even a word, as we've seen quite often some of these drivers on various levels of skill in this series. So should be an interesting race. And of course tonight as well, we do have some championship battles. It is Hamilton Ackabuize just ahead of Archie Coveney in the points in GTP, and in GT3 it's Sean Ryan and Tyler Fody duking it out for that respective championship. So going to be very interesting to see what the drivers can do here tonight. But let's take a look at qualifying. Qualifying is underway here. Sean Ryan, the aforementioned driver, currently leading the GT3 points. He does lead the way here in qualifying by just over half a second over Tyler Fody. So great drive here so far by the Abbott Motorsports machine of Sean Ryan. Ryan, of course, has picked up a victory already this season. Also has a victory on a road course in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series a couple seasons ago. He comes to a stop. We'll take a look at Tyler Fody in the Lake Norman Motorsports number 40 machine. Not sure why I said motorsports like that, but I did anyways. And Tyler Fody trying to work his way forward. Hunter Smith making an appearance tonight in the GT3 class as well, typically out there with our GTPs, but opting to hop behind the wheel of the Lambo and see what he can do this evening. Jared Rexing also out there in a GT3 this evening. Corey Abbott, part of the GT3 class, the Abbott Motorsports leader in car 21 this evening. Caleb Pecumer, car 59, another Lake Norman Motorsports car, a newcomer to the scene there for Lake Norman this season, and he's done a phenomenal job thus far. Very excited to see what he can do as the season does go on. About 45 seconds left out here for the GT3s. Jordan Owens out there on the racetrack as well, driving the number 12 Castrol Liqui-Moly machine, doing a nice job behind the wheel of that one. We're going to see a variety of drivers tonight. We do have about a dozen GTPs: Brant Johnson, Austin Bulkey, Andrew Way, Ethan Stanley, Colin Culpa, Justin Fortner, Mark Murphy, Jared Bridwell, Chad Frankenfield, Justin Vandermarl, Troy Banks, and of course our championship contenders in Hamilton Ackabuize and Archie Coveney. Coveney came to us during our Dollara series. Hopefully we can change that name soon, as we are wrapping up the final minute now of overlay time between the GT3s and the GTPs. Pecumer, Smith, Fody, Abbott, and Owens still on the racetrack. We're going to keep an eye on Tyler Fody in that Lake Norman machine, trying to get a bit of a quicker lap time out there on the racetrack, get himself a little bit closer to his championship rival, Sean Ryan, see if he can surpass him. He does not. That is going to end Tyler Fody's run. Caleb Pecumer trying to wrap up his run now, as he's going to come around and likely come to a stop here momentarily. Corey Abbott also wrapping up his lap. He comes pit side as we are about to open the pits here open the racetrack for the GTPs. As the GTP track does open up, we'll see who the first taker is I believe it will be, yes it is, Jacob Bridwell, driver of the RD SimSport 09 machine. Bridwell has had himself an up and down season. We'll try to get some of his statistics here momentarily. Just give me a quick moment. We'll get that pulled up for you and run through a bit of what Bridwell has been able to do this season. Definitely seeing some improvement out of the driver of that 09 machine this season, and if he does come back for our next series, which we hope to start up again in the new year, because this was a great series, great fun for us this evening. GTP class, Jake Bridwell currently finds himself in the standings. He is third. That is Jared Bridwell. I do apologize. Third in the points, 24 points back of Hamilton Akabuize and 14 back of second place Archie Coveney. Bridwell finishes this season 7th at Watkins Glen last round out, 2nd at Sebring, a very tough and technical road course, and of course 5th at our series opener at Daytona. So interesting season thus far for Bridwell. We'll see what he can do as the season goes on, but we're going to take a look at the man. Wow, he's got a different livery this week. That is the number 13 of Hamilton Akabuize, taking some of his race winnings and putting it towards a vinyl wrap on board that number 13. Good to see him out there, and he's already looking fairly sporty out there on the racetrack. As we also take a look at Archie Coveney, driver of the number 19 machine. He is second in points, 10 points back. Coveney, of course, does not have a win yet this season. Hamilton Akabuize has won every single round thus far. We're waiting here for the first lap of GTP to go up on the boards. Jared Bridwell should be the first driver to put a lap in the books. Mark Murphy, Chad Frankenfield, both having their laps disallowed due to track limit issues. As Bridwell comes around, he's going to put the first time on the charts and goes to the top of the 108.17. Akabuize about a second and a half quicker with a 106.79. Ethan Stanley, the perennial front runner in anything road courses here at the Elite Racing League, finds himself 4th in class thus far. Bridwell second, Andrew Way in third for Square Motorsport. Nice to see him picking up a bit of speed in his number 8 machine. Austin Bolke slots in 5th on the charts for Different Path, driving the 05. Colin Culpa in the 06 slots in just behind him, and Justin Fortner currently taking up the tail end of the GTP class as he finds himself 7th on the board. Archie Coveney takes his first lap, and he slots in behind our front runners of GT3. So a bit of a build-up lap there for Coveney, maybe just getting comfortable once again. I did hear from some drivers through the field tonight. Expectation, of course, is the track is going to cool off as we advance through the day. Let's see if we can get some track temperatures here. 82 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temperature right now. 77 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That is the ambient temperature, so definitely a little bit on the cooler side for these drivers tonight. Andrew Way moves himself back up to second ahead of Jared Bridwell, 107.38 for him. Akabuize advances to a 106.49. Brant Johnson goes 4th on the charts with a 108.17, my apologies, as Akabuize pulls at pit side. He's going to take a bit of a restart to his run, see if he can get anything more out of that car. Justin Fortner goes 5th on the charts. There he is, Archie Coveney, 106.62 for him, just over a 1/10 of a second behind his championship rival Hamilton Akabuize. So very tight at the top of the charts here thus far. We did see Coveney go with the lap 1 throwaway strategy here, pick up on lap 2. Let's see what he can do here on lap number 3. He has to make sure he stays within the track limits and also minds the traffic ahead of him here. As we take a look off of his nose, you can just see some of these blind corners, and he does have another car up ahead of him here, so could potentially use a little bit of draft off that machine, but also wants to make sure that he doesn't catch him at the wrong spot. Just an update here, Mark Murphy goes 9th on the charts. Justin Vandermeer 10th. Austin Bolke 11th. Chad Frankfield has not yet been able to put a lap in the books as we continue to ride on board here with Archie Coveney. Now taking a look as he's going to come around. Frankenfield goes 7th on the chart. Actually, he falls back to 8th as his teammate Justin Fortner jumps ahead of him. Archie Coveney to the top of the charts with a 106.24. He has 2.5 tenths on Hamilton Akabuize. Akabuize now coming back out onto the racetrack. We'll see what he can do this time by. What a race thus far, or in qualifying, just a battle between these drivers, and definitely going to be interesting to see if Akabuize can pick up here. Archie Coveney is pit side. He has a minute or so to come back around if he wants to put another lap in the books. But I don't know that he will. Akabuize gonna come around, and we'll see what he can do this time. See if he can maybe set himself a bit of a better lap. Currently in the top 5 in GTP, as you see there on your screen. Archie Coveney, Hamilton Akabuize, Andrew Way, Jared Bridwell, and Brant Johnson, the top 5. Phenomenal run by Johnson here in qualifying tonight. Definitely unexpected to see him up and around the top 5, but a pleasant surprise. Justin Fortner slots in 5th on the boards. Akabuize does take the green flag here. He's going to come around and get one more lap in the books. We'll see what he can do next time around as we're wrapping up qualifying here. 13 seconds of regulation and then about a minute of cool off. Bridwell currently on the track running 4th. See if he can get any quicker in that machine. Justin Fortner out there as well. Brant Johnson just went off the track. Ethan Stanley gonna try to get his lap in the books as here comes Akabuize. And we will see momentarily as he's coming around the final few sets of corners here to work his way towards that start-finish line. Coveney, Akabuize, Way, Bridwell, and Fortner currently your top 5. Akabuize calls it an end to his qualifying, so he's gonna take a little visit to the wall. Ethan Stanley wraps up his qualifying attempt as well, so that looks like it'll do it here for qualifying in the Road Atlanta 90-minute GP here tonight as Ethan Stanley crosses the line. He goes 4th, knocks Justin Fortner out of the top 5. So it's Coveney, Akabuize, Way, Stanley, and Bridwell, the top 5 in GTP. Sean Ryan, Tyler Fode, Hunter Smith, Caleb Pecumer, and Jared Rexing. As we work our way through the final bit of cool down here, we're going to step away just for a brief second, pay a quick bill, and get set to bring you the starting grid for tonight's 90 minutes at Road Atlanta. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back and getting set for tonight's 90 minutes here at Road Atlanta. Taking a look at the starting grid here tonight, brought to you by the folks at TA Services, as well as Blue Egg Marketing and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Rolling out from the pole tonight, Archie Coveney in car number 19, currently chasing the man that's going to start to his outside. Car number 13 tonight, Hamilton Akabuize, starting second. That's your championship leader in GTP. Andrew Way rolling off third in car number 8 alongside the 91 of Ethan Stanley tonight. Jared Bridwell and Justin Fortner make up row number 3 in cars 09 and 26 respectively. Row 4, Brant Johnson in car number 9 alongside the 06 of Colin Culpa. And rounding out the top 10 here tonight, Chad Frankenfield in car 15 alongside the 69 of Mark Murphy. Row number 6 tonight, the 5 of Justin Vandermarl alongside the 95 of Austin Bolke. Row number 7, Sean Ryan in car number 16 alongside the 40 of Tyler Fody. Hunter Smith in the 54 rolls off 15th alongside the 59 of Caleb Pecumer. Row number 9 tonight, Jared Rexing in car number 10 alongside the 21 of Corey Abbott. Row 10 tonight, the 12 of Jordan Owens alongside the 22 of Troy Banks. Rounding out the field, rolling off 21st in row number 11, car number 32 of David Bush. That is your 21 car field for tonight's Road Atlanta GP. 90 minutes coming at you. That is Hamilton Akabuize and Archie Coveney getting set to go green here momentarily. Still about a half a track to go before they work their way back to the start-finish line. Of course, if Chris Wright were here, we'd make race picks, but we're going to make championship picks instead. Well, I guess I am because he's not here. So I'm going to go with Hamilton Akabuize, of course, in the GTP. He's been absolutely dominant this season, going 3 for 3 thus far. Looking to pick up a 4th straight here tonight. And I'm going to go Sean Ryan in the GT3 class, driving car number 16 to pick up the GT3 championship. Ryan's been very consistent this season, trying to hold off one of Elite's best in Tyler Fody. He's done an absolutely phenomenal job of doing that here tonight. So, going to be a great race, and I'm looking forward to bringing you all the action here this evening. As the drivers work their way down, getting set to go green. Of course, the GT3s have split off from that GTP pack. This will help us avoid a little bit of the chaos that we might see on the start of this race tonight. Looking for a clean and green start as we are underway here tonight. The 90 minutes of Road Atlanta is underway, and Archie Coveney has had a phenomenal jump here ahead of Hamilton Akabuize, able to work his way out front. Andrew Way currently running in that 3rd spot. Sean Ryan gonna lead the GT3 cars to their green flag. We should be getting going green out of this set of corners here momentarily. They're gonna find the gas pedal and get underway as Hamilton Akabuize has gone off the racetrack. That is a huge moment right there, folks. Akabuize, the championship leader, with issues, early drama here at Road Atlanta. He grabs the left side curb and gets over to the right, back to the left, and gets a little bit of loose dirt. Wow. Doesn't hit anything, able to continue on, but that was a very dramatic moment here for the start of tonight's race. Wow. Akabuize with issues early on. The GT3 is finally underway. Sean Ryan with a nice start, half a second ahead of Tyler Fody. We're going to take a look here for some battles throughout the field. Looks like Mark Murphy has gone off the racetrack. Mark, you're not here to landscape. You're here to race, my friend. Let's continue on and work our way forward, Mark Murphy, as he's going to grab the gear shift and work his way back forward. Watching Brant Johnson and Justin Fortner duking it out. That's for position number 5 on the racetrack. Brant Johnson running a pink machine tonight. He sent me a message about this. It is a pink pig tribute. So that's interesting. Andrew Way also running that tribute. I would like to hear more about this pink pig. So not sure if it stands for something. Maybe they're calling somebody a pink pig. I'm not sure. But we're going to continue on here. Sean Ryan leading the way for Abbott Motorsports, car number 16 out front. He's doing what he has to do here thus far. Obviously, a long way to go. And Sean mentioned to me before tonight's race that he's done the calculations, and by his math, with getting the pole position bonus tonight, he's going to have to finish 4th or better to win tonight's race. Or win the championship, sorry. Obviously, to win the race, he's got to finish 1st. But to win the championship, has to finish 4th or better. If he hadn't won the pole, he would have had to finish top 3 or better to win the title over Tyler Foti. Just an update here. Troy Banks did not start. Hamilton Akabuize already up 2 spots. Now he's on the outside of Justin Vandermeer. Going to do a little bit of a crossover, get to the right side. Justin going to run off a little bit into the grassy area, able to get that gathered back up. They're going to race tight here. Vandermeer hanging on to that left side of Akabuize. Akabuize going to clear here, work his way forward. Now back up into position number 9, but Vandermeer not going away quietly. He's here to race as well, race his way forward, but he does fall back to 10th. As Akabuize going to clear forward. Chad Frankenfield just ahead, the next victim to get passed by Akabuize. Colin Culpa running in position number 7. We have a battle here. Corey Abbott and Caleb Pecumer have been duking it out here for the last lap or so. Justin Vandermeer just went off the racetrack, able to gather it back up, uses one of the runoff areas to get back underway. Taking a look, Mark Murphy currently running at the tail of the GTP class. Did do some off-roading a little bit earlier, testing himself out maybe to do some ski jumping or something over the winter months. Not sure what Mark Murphy has planned, but whatever it is, it's going to be interesting with Mark Murphy, and it's probably going to come with a story or 12. Because that's just how Mark Murphy rolls. As we take a look here, that is Andrew Way already going through the GT3 class. Archie Coveney has already cleared, leads by 4.3 now, just about 4.4 seconds over Andrew Way. As Way working his way forward. Ethan Stanley going by Hunter Smith in the GT3 class. Brant Johnson has taken it pit side in his machine. Do believe he had an issue with one of his controls heading into tonight's race, so we'll see what he does here, see if he can get that fixed up and get back out onto the racetrack. As we'll take a look here just to see if he does get out of that car, and he doesn't. He stays in the car, so just maybe an off strategy here for Brant Johnson. Off strategy, if I do say so myself, but I'm not a driver in this field. Well, I kind of am tonight, but not racing. As Chad Frankenfield gets passed by Hamilton Akabuize. Taking a look here, is Chad asking for a review of the incident. We'll take a look on the Robilis Photography replay machine. You see Frankenfield on the left, Akabuize on that right side. They make a little bit of contact. Definitely an interesting moment there. We're going to back that up just once again and see what happened. Racing side by side, lap traffic just ahead of them there. I believe that to be Caleb Pecumer. Mark Murphy having himself a moment as well. Taking a look here at what just happened to Mark Murphy. I believe he just slides right in front of the GT3 machine. Trying to see who that was that got involved with the Mark Murphy machine there. It was one of the GT3s. David Bush III. As we continue on here, a tally has just been issued to Hamilton at Cabuize for contact with the Chad Frankenfield machine. A bit of unnecessary contact between those drivers happening on lap number 5. There was also an incident between Mark Murphy and David Bush III that happened there on lap 6. That one a racing deal. Archie Coveney leads 7 seconds now over Andrew Way in that GTP class. Down in GT3, Sean Ryan leading by 4.2 over Tyler Fody. Brant Johnson goes off the racetrack. He's trying to take Mark Murphy's job as the landscaper, and I'm sure Mark not going to appreciate that too much. As we continue on here, looking for battles throughout the field. Looks like we have one. It's Corey Abbott catching up to Jared Rexing. Rexing in that yellow machine just ahead of Corey Abbott. Abbott, the car that says Abbott on the side of it, if you couldn't tell by now. He's currently running in the 5th spot in class, looking to work his way up to 4th. Corey Abbott, top 5 currently in the GT3 points, looking to work his way forward and maybe gain a couple positions on that podium. Chad Frankenfield leaves the pits after nearly 3 minutes pit side, making repairs on that machine. Of course, tonight, as we mentioned, is the championship finale for this Elite Sports Car Series, a 4-race dash for a bit of cash money and other prizes that have been put forward through the entry fees in this series. We also have, just so you folks are aware, another event coming up here in the next couple of weeks that's going to be a bit of fun, allow the drivers just to get out there and do something a little bit different in the off season. It's going to be the winter, I believe Chad called it the Winter Derby, and the Snow Bash 100. Those races are coming up here in just a couple weeks time. We will be racing the Snow Bash 100 on Monday, December the 18th, and Wednesday, December 20th is when the Elite Winter Derby will get underway. So signups for that are available currently on the Elite Racing League Discord, as well as Elite Racing League on Twitter. So be sure to check that out as Archie Coveney continues to work his way through the field, putting GT3s another lap down. And of course, looking ahead to next season is the return of the Elite Open Wheel Series that we hope will change due to some recent activities that have happened in the real world. If you have followed this at all, you'll know what I'm talking about. as we hope to be able to bring you some video feed of those races in the near future. But for now, our radio broadcast will continue. We're also going to have, of course, our NASCAR style series in the Trucks, Grand National, and Cup series. Those will still return, as well as our Elite ARCA series that'll return on Tuesday nights. And that one should be another great opportunity for drivers to work their way up into the higher ranks of the Elite Racing League. As we watch Jared Rexing and David Bush III, they're battling currently for position number 6 in class, Rexing and Bush, and they also have some GTPs just behind them there. That is Jared Bridwell. Bridwell trying to work his way forward, currently running 4th in class, as Justin Fortner just behind him. I believe Chad Frankenfield is the car between them. So some tight battling going on out here on the racetrack. Frankfield, of course, a lap down, as Caleb Pecumer going to go a lap down as well to these drivers. Mark Murphy bringing up the 10th position in GTP. Hamilton Akabuize, folks, has worked his way back up to 6th. You might remember about 13 minutes ago, just off the start, he ended up nosing nearly into the outside wall, was able to gather it up and continue on. He's going by David Bush III now Jared Rexing. Rexing gonna go wide and allow Akabuize to get through without much issues whatsoever, as we do have Caleb Pecumer just got by Jared Rexing. Now Akabuize gonna continue his charge forward, going by, I believe that was Caleb Pecumer that he just went by, and yes, it was. Andrew Way currently 11.1 seconds behind Archie Coveney. Coveney doing exactly what he needs to do to at least try to have an opportunity at this championship. Chad Frankenfield gonna have to crunch some numbers if it stays anything like this at the end of tonight's race to see who in fact is the title winner in GTP. It's been a great season for both of these drivers, Akabuize and Coveney, and either one of them would be a very deserving champion. But as of right now, Coveney looks like he's having the better race, but I do think Hamilton may have enough of an advantage point-wise to be able to edge him out. Taking a look a little bit further back, we have a battle brewing here. That is for the 3rd spot. Ethan Stanley currently holds the position. Jared Bridwell chasing him down. He wants that spot. Great run tonight by Bridwell. Was able to qualify in position number 5, currently running in that 4th spot, chasing down the 3rd place Ethan Stanley, who is always one of the front runners here. Anything road course racing in the Elite Racing League, you're going to see the likes of Ethan Stanley and Tyler Fody, RC Anderson, etc. up at the front. But with these series that we've had, the Dallara series as well as the sports car series, we've seen the likes of Archie Coveney get out there. Togo Asada also running up towards the front when we ran the Lotus series, a very, very strong road course competitor. And then you bring in some newcomers in Elite as well. Kean Raleigh, a strong runner. Justin Fuller, also quite strong in the road courses. So a new crop of road course racer coming into the league. Of course, we can't forget to mention Hamilton Akabuize, definitely one of the more dominant drivers that we've seen in these road course races. As we see another battle on the racetrack, it's Corey Abbott, Caleb Pecumer battling it out for 4th in class in the GT3s. Abbott has it, Pecumer wants it, and he's about to send it as Jared Rexing sends it pit side. He's going to go to the attention of his pit crew. Had some issues over the last couple of laps, went off track a couple times, maybe not feeling as good as he would want to out on the racetrack, but we'll see what he can do when he comes back out here momentarily. Jordan Owens able to get by the Jared Rexing machine, works his way up to that 7th spot in class as things get a little bit hairy there. That's Justin Vandermarl getting by Corey Abbott. Caleb Pecumer just behind him. That is Austin Bulkey. Bulkey working his way forward. Just to mention here, Mark Murphy, one of the GT3 cars, is a lap down now as Coveney has put him a lap down and nearly has 15 seconds on second place Andrew Way. Andrew Way, of course, taking a look at his stats on the season. 6th place, his best event at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago. Other than that, 13th at Sebring and 6th or 15th at Daytona. So this is by far the best event that we've seen by Andrew Way. Of course, not yet a third of the way through the event, so a lot can still change in this one. But some drivers in this field certainly showing that this is a great track for them. Hunter Smith has an issue. We're going to take a look on the Robilas photography replay machine. That's Jared Rexing leaving pit road. We don't really want to see that. As we take a look at Hunter Smith, he's going to push a little bit wide here, comes back across the exit lane, gets a little bit of the curbing and goes for a slide all by himself, doesn't touch anything and continues on. Then has another crash on the racetrack. This one I believe may just be him stopping. Yes, so no additional crashes there for Hunter Smith, luckily for Hunter Smith, that is. As Chad Frankenfield goes off the racetrack, he just hurt the orange cone, so watch for a tweet about that over on Twitter or X or B or V or whatever letter of the alphabet it opts to be tonight. Thanks, Elon, for that. As we do continue on, it is Archie Coveney, 16 seconds out front of the field. Just a great dominant performance by Archie Coveney. Hamilton Akabuize has stalled out a little bit on the racetrack. I believe he's cooked his tires a bit in that number 13 machine. And just a quick note here, there was a server error tonight. So the GT3 cars have 100% fuel. They are likely to be able to make it on potentially one stop only this evening, depending on the tires. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to jump on board here with Archie Coveney. Once he does come around, we're going to hop on board right now and do a lap on board with Archie Coveney. As we ride on board with Coveney, you can just see the visibility issues that these drivers have. A lot of blind corners here. Coveney went a little wide there, which potentially could have turned into a bit of an issue for him. We're going to jump now from Archie Coveney on board to Sean and Ryan to see the difference here. Driving the GT3 car, see what Sean Ryan can and cannot see, as this is definitely a bit of an interesting opportunity here for Sean Ryan to lead the way.
Hey, good. Can you finally hear me? Good. All right, yeah, I saw Chris bailed on you, so I thought maybe I'd help you here. Well, hey, give me something to watch, and I can help you out. I was watching it up on the big screen. Got the big screen in my house tonight, and was watching it up there. Saw a couple little episodes there beginning with the big leader. So as he made his way back up a little bit. Really enjoy these IMSA cars. They start this like at sunset, right? So we should go into the night as we go the next hour. Yeah, I usually just see one race a year from Road Atlanta. I have a sister who lives not too far away from there. I always kind of wanted to get there, but yeah, it does have some rolling hills up and down there. It kind of looks a little similar to Road America in that sense, but
Yeah,
love to watch these cars snake their way through those corners, though.
yeah, there's definitely some similarities, but also a lot of differences as well. I just find running on board these cars as Mark Murphy has himself another excursion into the
hang on.
grass. He's able to gather it up before hitting the wall, so that's a good thing. I don't believe that's the racetrack though, is it? Now it is for Mark Murphy, but I did a couple laps before getting underway here, and as soon as you leave pit road, you go to a blind corner right away, and it is scary. It is very scary running this racetrack if you don't know the layout. So quite the interesting experience, that's for sure. But Archie absolutely dominant here tonight, 21 seconds ahead of Andrew Way, who I mentioned was having by far his best run. Brant Johnson doing some off-roading as well. I believe that's the second or third time he's done that same thing in the same corner. So maybe next time he pits, we'll add a sticky note to his dash, just letting him know how that corner works so he doesn't end up off the racetrack. But Hamilton's still trying to get up to Justin Fortner. Fortner just up ahead of him, working his way through part of the downhill portion towards the start-finish line. And these drivers getting a little bit more aggressive as the day goes on. Hamilton going to take a dive to the left side of Fortner, not able to get there. And you do have to keep in mind, Hamilton does, he nearly has a lockup coming off the corner, but he does have a tally already here tonight, does Hamilton, due to some contact with Chad Frankenfield earlier on tonight. So that is something he's got to keep in mind. As I believe Archie Coveney had a moment. He lost about a second on the racetrack, able to gather it back up though. Still leading by 21 seconds over Andrew Way, as he's going to put David Bush, Corey Abbott, and I believe that to be Caleb Pecumer another lap down here tonight. And I'm just picturing how Chris Wright would say that name, even though it's the fourth race of the season. He absolutely would butcher Caleb's last name, Dave.
That's probably true, and Gerald would even do even more.
Oh, Gerald
Wouldn't even come close.
Gerald
He
would just
put
have the
vowels in
AI
there
do
that
it.
Didn't even exist.
Yeah. He'd have a Y in there and a Z. He'd have all the random letters in that name. But as I was mentioning before you joined us, I found out the GT3s have a bit of an advantage here tonight with 100% fuel in their cars. So that's not something we typically see in these cars, but they should be able to make it on one stop this evening rather than what would normally be a two maybe even 3-stop event.
Yeah, and I did see some discussion. I mean, with this being our first time we've done this kind of series, that since we only do run 90 minutes, that they may change that for future series that we run with these cars, just so they have a little bit more pit action to be able to shake things up.
Yeah, it's definitely nice when you do have that pit action. As we see here, Justin Fortner still under fire from Hamilton Akabuize. Just behind him is Hunter Smith in the Lamborghini, trying to chase him down. As Fortner still holding solid. They're catching up to a bit of lap traffic. That is the Jordan Owens machine. Owens going to hang to the right side. Fortner going to sneak to the left, but here comes Akabuize and move Hamilton Akabuize up into the top 5. He is definitely channeling his inner demon here tonight and absolutely letting the aggression fly, as we are nearly a third of the way through the event. It's Coveney, Way, Bridwell, Stanley, and Akabuize, the top 5 in GTP. GT3 is Sean Ryan, Tyler Fode, Caleb Pecumer, Corey Abbott, and David Bush III. As Sean Ryan's still leading the way in that class, doing what he has to do to beat Tyler Fode and remain the leader in that GT3 class to claim the championship ahead of Fode. Meanwhile, in GTP, Coveney closing that points gap on Hamilton Akabuize, but I just don't know if he's going to have enough room to do it, depending on what happens with Hamilton here.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing everything he can control. The part he's not going to be able to control is where Hamilton's going to finish.
It's definitely the unfortunate part of all of this. Is it's a 10-point gap between Coveney and Akabuize. Just taking a look here to see, each position is separated by 2 points on the racetrack. So as of right now, as Akabuize takes 4th, it's getting tight. It's absolutely getting tight.
He really needs him to finish 6th or below and win it. So.
And we'll see what happens. Oh, this.
That's a gaggle of cars, isn't it?
That's a gaggle, that's for sure. That is Ethan Stanley, but just behind him, that's Hamilton Akabuize, just about to work his way up back to a podium position. He just got by Jared Bridwell. Bridwell's right there. So this is a 3-car battle for 3rd as Akabuize takes a sweep to the left side. Not able to get there, just behind Ethan Stanley. Akabuize nearly goes off the racetrack. That allows Jared Bridwell to close that gap once again. Just behind them, Justin Fortner in the picture, as well as Akabuize using every inch of this racetrack that he possibly can to try to get there. But you have to wonder if potentially the aggression is being used a little bit too early here. Still 1 hour to go, and Akabuize already 1 tally and 1 spin in the books, and he's just got to be careful.
Yeah, his name is one I don't recognize because he doesn't run a lot of our series, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is his cup of tea. This is the kind of car he likes, right?
This is absolutely his cup of tea, Dave. He is dominant. He's won every race so far in the series, which is only 3 races, but still, he's won all 3 that we've had. And as you see, Jared Bridwell having a phenomenal run as well, trying to get by Ethan Stanley. That's going to be the battle now for position number 4. Is Bridwell going to clear Stanley? Going to go off the racetrack just about. He's going to go back to the clutches of Justin Fortner. Fortner having a phenomenal run here tonight as well. So very interesting to see different drivers running up towards the front. Bridwell never usually up there as far as he has been here tonight. Andrew Way also having a career night. Hamilton Akabuize always up at the front as he's catching up to Tyler Fode. That's a name you should know, Dave.
Yep, that one I know.
Tyler Fode, as I mentioned, absolutely dominant in everything he races here in Elite. A winner. Not a cup champion yet, but has a shot at that on Wednesday night, I do believe. So that should be...
Yeah, I was talking to him about that tonight. I was like, really? You've never won cup? And he goes, no, that's the only one that's eluded me. So
yeah,
I told him I would do my part, and I will not pick him. So he can't blame me if he doesn't win.
It's actually shocking that he doesn't have a cup title as of yet. He's so good at what he does. And I just want to point out here, Tyler Fody is closing that gap on Sean Ryan. The gap, well, hanging at about 10 seconds flat, 10.1 now. So Ryan just holding on to that gap that he has, as there's Hamilton Akabuize just behind him. Looks like anybody that we go to on this picture is going to have Hamilton coming up behind them. He's like a mosquito that's trying to work his way through, but Sean has to be a little careful here. As I'm not sure who that was. I believe that might have been Justin Vandermarl just went off the racetrack. Corey Abbott also went off. I'm not seeing anything keyed up here, so we're gonna do a manual rewind of the video here, see if we can see what happened. I don't think anything happened. He just slowed up.
Going slow.
Yeah, Justin Vandermarl just slows up, maybe to let the leaders by, and no, he's still coasting. That's
Shouldn't be
very
a fuel issue.
No. Let's jump on board here and see if his car's running. Of course,
Can they blow engines?
terrible view. They could blow engines if they end up. Yeah, he's going 20 miles per hour on the racetrack right now in neutral. So his car's off.
He's not going to make it up this hill.
I'm going to try to find out what happened. So let's ride on board here with Archie Coveney, and we'll be right back. And we are back, Dave. I just spoke with Justin Vandermarl, and he ran out of gas in that car.
No.
So not sure if he didn't take enough, or if he's somehow using more gas in his car than the leaders. But aside from Brant Johnson and Chad Frankfield that had issues, speaking of Frankfield, he just went off the racetrack, gathers it back up. But aside from them, he's the only GTP to go down pit road. So very odd, as he's going to call it a day. Archie Coveney, he's found his headlights. He's going to flash them for that is, I do believe, Chad Frankenfield just ahead of him there. So he's letting Chad know that he's coming by. He probably called him mate as he's catching up to him here.
But please don't hit me.
That is Chad Frankenfield and Tyler Fody just ahead of him. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, Dave. That's exactly it. I mean, there's worse Lake Norman cars for Chad to be around due to the rivalry status that they have, but that
You think you have to remind
been
them that you're not
interesting.
in the same class? You guys aren't really competing against each other.
Yeah, exactly. Now Chad's decided to let Archie by, as Chad already, of course, 4 laps down. What?
Whose fault was it?
That was a wild one. As we see Andrew Way, he's going by Corey Abbott. Old Pork Chop gonna fall back a couple of spots on the racetrack. Gets by David Bush as well. Pork Chop,
So,
if
Robert,
you
you
didn't
talked
know,
to-
Dave, is Corey Abbott's nickname.
Yep, I knew that from his Twitter handle.
There you go.
So, for a lot of these names that are familiar to me from all the other series we run, how many of these guys that are picking up IMSA, was this the first time they drove the car, or did any of them dabble in it before and wanted to try this series?
I think for the most part, everyone that's here has touched the IMSA cars before, either in the Daytona 24 that's run annually or other series. Because you got to think most of these guys do run the 24 hours of Daytona. I even run it, and I'm terrible in these cars, and just luckily a team picks me up every year. That's about it. But these cars definitely interesting to drive. I've driven everything from the GTPs to the GT3s. GT3 is definitely a lot tougher, in my opinion, to drive than the GTP, just because of the weight of the car. They don't necessarily move around as freely. Picture a figure skater versus a sumo wrestler on skates. It just doesn't work the same. It's not as graceful.
So back when Justin Vandermarl ran out of fuel, how does the simulation handle running out of fuel? I know he stayed out on the track for as long as he could, but I mean, are you able to like tow immediately and get back on the track, or is there some kind of penalty with that?
As with every tow, there is a couple minutes that it takes to tow depending on the track size. So something like this, he could be towing for 3-4 minutes before he has the opportunity to get back behind the wheel of the car. When you run out of fuel, it's just as if you would run out in the real world. It sputters a little bit, and then all of a sudden, just your car is not really moving much anymore. You're coasting at about 25, and then it just drops, and you're just miserable at that point.
I was wondering if there was any advantage to trying to make it back. I mean, he stayed out there for quite a while coasting, where he could have just immediately towed as soon as he knew he was out. But if there would be some kind of time savings if he would have been close enough to the pits, that it would just let you roll in and go ahead and refuel.
So the closer you get to the pits, the less time it takes to tow. So your tow is set by the distance you're going to have to go to get to the pits.
So he wanted to get as close as he could before he hit the button.
But at the same time, that's exactly it. You're losing the time on the racetrack. As we see Archie Coveney go by Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith, of course, driving a GT3 tonight, opposed to his usual GTP. But you're losing time on the racetrack when you're coasting back towards the pits. He has left the server, so I guess not too worried about it. But definitely unfortunate anyways to run out of fuel and not be able to work your way towards a decent result on the day, because no matter what happens, you never know. Just taking a look here, Hamilton Akabuize has shortened the gap between himself and second place Andrew Way to about 4 seconds between them. Hunter Smith just went off the racetrack. He's able to gather it back up. Colin Culpa had a brief moment, but the gap between first and second is nearly 28 seconds on the racetrack. That could be the distance or the difference of a full pit stop between these drivers. So if Coveney times it well, he could absolutely double that lead that he has over Andrew Way. But that got close for Archie Coveney. Comes up on Caleb Pecumer, and Pecumer was going a heck of a lot slower than the Archie Coveney machine. Brant Johnson, he's not driving in the right direction at that point. He's going to come back around, nearly clips his teammate Andrew Way, and he decides he's going to back up and try to get it moving in the right direction, a little bit of a safer way. So kudos to Brant Johnson for that. And he found his headlights, Dave.
Yeah, there you go. Otherwise, I just assume you just find somebody you're willing to finish behind and follow them.
That's exactly it. And you're going to see a lot of blinking of the headlights here. That's typically the faster car coming up on a bit of slower traffic, letting them know that they're there and they're ready to pass. That's typically something you see in this kind of racing, and we just saw it there, as I believe that was Jared Bridwell. Yes, it was. Just went by Brant Johnson, as Archie Coveney continues to lead 30 seconds. The lead now is, here comes second place Andrew Way, the first of our leaders to come to pit road, and he's able to make it down. Looks like a weird entry here to pit road for these drivers. So we'll watch for the next driver to come down pit road. I'd expect another car to come shortly, as typically when one comes, the rest of them start thinking about it, and then we end up with a gaggle of cars on pit road. Coveney will probably extend it as far as he can. Hamilton may do the same, as he's worked his way to second now, with Andrew Way coming down pit road, and he'll likely be second at the conclusion of this pit cycle, as we are just a couple minutes away from halfway now of the Road Atlanta 90-minute event here tonight to round out the Elite Sports Car Series, the 4-race event. And Dave, I was mentioning that you have a special event coming up that you're going to be producing, the Winter Derby, in a few weeks' time. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a new track so it can have 5 flags. I'm kind of kicking myself. I'm headed down to that area, Pensacola, like next week, and I was talking to Zach Evans, who's down there now, that he said I kind of screwed up, and when I timed my vacation, I could have gone down and saw the Snowball Derby and the Snowflake and all that stuff. So next year, I think I have a friend who lives down there. I think I'm gonna schedule that out so I can go see it in real life. It's supposed to be pretty good modified racing down there. So late models, I guess, what they call it.
Yeah, late models are racing there. Late models and super late models are racing there this weekend for the annual Snowball Derby, as well as the Snowflake race. I believe it's the Snowflake 150 or 100 that's going on this weekend. A couple of my Canadian drivers are down there, including our 2023 NASCAR Pinty Series champion Trayton Lapsovich, and he was second on the charts in practice today. So pretty cool to see a Canadian down there hanging it out with some of the best that short track racing in the U.S. has to offer. Lots of NASCAR guys there too. Noah Gragson, William Byron, Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, a bunch of Cup Series drivers involved in that race. So Dave, if you have a chance, definitely get out there next season to check it out. It's one of the biggest races of the year for sure. But in this one, Archie Coveney leads 36 seconds over Hamilton Akabuize in GTP. Sean Ryan extends his lead to just under 16 seconds in the GT3 class as Hunter Smith comes pit side, pitting from 5th in class in GT3. That's going to be the first stop of the GT3 class. Kind of odd to see them go longer than what the GTP has. And just to point out, Archie Coveney just put down the quickest lap of the race. Last lap by with a 107.32. So he is definitely getting a little bit lower on fuel as the speeds are picking up immensely behind the wheel of that car. Justin Fortner has an off-track moment ahead of Jordan Owens. He gathers it back up, currently running 5th.
Robert, do you have the ability to put on the tower just for a short second the car manufacturers?
Absolutely.
Is that an option? I think it is.
I believe it is. Let's take a look.
I'm trying to tell from looking at them, but it's really hard to see. Okay. So we got Cadillacs, top three. What's the logo? Porsche?
Porsche.
Fourth? Another Cadillac. Porsche, Cadillac, Porsche. So basically everybody in the GTPs are either in the Cadillac or the Porsches.
Quite a few Porsches down in GT3. We have a Lamborghini there as well. A couple BMWs, Mercedes.
Acura.
The Acura didn't start, but that would have been the only Acura here this evening.
Did they try starter fluid? That usually worked when I was a kid. Shoot that starter fluid in there, and fireball come out the top. Dad would cuss. Then it would start.
Jeez.
Yep.
Brant Johnson off-roading again. Let's take a look at the quick times of the race thus far. A 107.31 for Archie Coveney. Actually, that was not. Yes, that was his best time. So that pretty strong for him as he leads by almost 40 seconds over Hamilton Akabuize. Ethan Stanley.
Oh, into the wall.
Wow. Ethan Stanley.
Car smacked the wall.
That's Ethan Stanley that just pit our 3rd place GTP. We'll take a look at his pit entry once again. Austin Bulkey just had himself a moment. We'll take a look at that momentarily. Ooh. Brant Johnson had a crash. Ooh, this was a bit of a gaggle. I believe that was Ethan Stanley just ahead of him there. A little bit of contact, not too bad. Austin Bulkey.
Oh, then that
that might have been.
Lost it in front of it.
Might have been a little bit worse than I thought. Austin Bolke.
So here would be my race control question for you. If
Solo spin.
Aquabuize, I'm sorry that I'm butchering his name.
Culpa.
If he got a tally for his bump on the back of Chad earlier, why isn't that bump in the back a tally?
I believe it will be.
Oh, okay.
We will take a look at it.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, Culpa's probably done for the day, folks.
That was a good side swipe into the end of the pit wall.
Ooh.
Yeah, he bumps him from behind and then he spins out in front of him. So
that's tough because at first you look just behind Brant Johnson, the driver. I'm not sure who that is. That's the worst part. That's the 05 of Austin Bolke. Gets into the back.
Come across his nose a little bit. This is one of those where you argue where's the racing line, right? So he doesn't know he's there, and he kind of came down across him.
That one's tough, Dave, because they make contact heading into the corner. Then the Bolke machine gets ahead of Brant Johnson, and he ends up. It makes contact there, then gets ahead of him here, and loses it due to his entry to the corner. Actually, that's pretty black and white, if I'm honest with you. That's going to be a tally on the 05 of Austin Bolke.
I would agree. Not that it matters, but I would agree. I just like to agree if I ever get a chance.
So tally issued to the 05 of Austin Bolke. That used to be my number. So I always hate giving it a tally, but when something like that happens, a tally definitely is needed. Just to point out here, second and third in GTP, Aquabuize and Bridwell both on pit road, as well as Colin Culpa, who decided that he wanted to be part of the pit entry wall, put himself deep in that one. Aquabuize going to leave pit road. Coveney still out on the racetrack. He should come down momentarily. The gap between those drivers has stayed the same. Maybe he came down, and I apologize, he came down while we were reviewing the Brant Johnson incident there, so he didn't lose anything. He might have actually gained a second on pit road. So great call by Archie Coveney. Great pit. And speaking of pits, we're going to take a pit stop here, pay some bills, and we'll be right back on the Elite Racing Network. This is the season finale of the Elite Sports Car Series. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here. It is the Road Atlanta GP 90-minute race here tonight, Dan, the Elite Sports Car Series. Archie Coveney currently leads by 34 seconds over Hamilton Akabuize. Akabuize, if you're just joining us, had issues early on in tonight's event, ended up losing it off the start, nearly ending his night in the wall, but able to sort himself out and continue on here tonight. So lucky for him, it wasn't worse than it could have been, as he fell out of the top 10, now back up to second. And in GT3, it's Sean Ryan leading by 20 seconds over Tyler Fode, and that's also your championship battle there. So first place in GT3 is your GT3 point leader, with his championship rival Fode in second. Meanwhile, in GTP, Hamilton entered tonight as the leader with Archie second, and Archie trying to do whatever he can to control what he can here this evening and gain some points on the day. So we'll see at the end of it here tonight. I just don't think, unless something catastrophic happens here in the next 36 minutes, I just don't see anything happening to allow Archie to take that title. But Dave, once again, thanks for joining me here midway through tonight's race. And from what you've seen so far, what are your thoughts on the sports car series?
I love the visuals of it. These cars are just so cool to watch, and it kind of reminds me of why when these series are on TV, I'll always usually flip by and watch it for a good long time. I love to watch them at night. I love that view right there when you see them, the headlights snaking down the hill through the turns. It's just awesome. It's just a good-looking type of racing. And it really takes a lot of commitment from these drivers to drive for this long and that many turns, and you just have to almost be perfect on every turn. One screw up, even though the gap is 32 seconds to the top, one little screw up and you can be in second in no time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I absolutely love these views as well, where you're seeing them come just off in the distance, the lights lighting up the racetrack. We're actually following Archie Coveney along here through the race course as we watch him wheel his way around the racetrack. We might have actually switched cars at one point.
As you use these camera angles, people will ask, as we produce, they'll always say, these are such beautiful camera angles. Why don't you use them more often? And the hard part is you can't call a race from this very well. So that's the way we do it, where we share our screen with somebody else and they have to watch, we can only see this one car. You're not seeing anything else going on the track. So even though it's beautiful and we're at a point in the race where we can use it, you really can't use it that much in some of the other things we do, but it does give an idea of the speed a lot when you use a static camera.
That's exactly it. And another thing that kind of throws it off as well is, I just have to point out here, when we went to commercial break, it's like somebody took the sun and threw it away, because it got so dark.
It got dark quick.
It is very dark. Like, I feel like I should be getting my pillow, getting ready for bed here. It's dark. But we can still tell that's Archie Coveney, our race leader, out front. He just got by a lapped car. I believe that was Sean Ryan. Yes, it was. That is the GT3 second place car, as Tyler Fode comes down pit road here. Sean Ryan did just pit, so this is just a pit cycle lead change. He should regather the lead here momentarily. But yeah, you mentioned the camera angles, Dave, and it is great to be able to use them when we can. It does get tough, of course, like you mentioned, when it comes to calling the race and just not having those visuals. It's also availability of cameras too from track to track. Sometimes we just really don't get a good mix of cameras to use. So
yeah, you get one, you pull it up, and it goes behind a tree. So it's like,
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Use some of these drone cameras. The Dave loves to drive the drone. That's like, that's
hard to fit in the drone, but I get up there in the air. It's pretty fun.
Absolutely. Like, these are some cool shots that we can see of the racetrack. I don't see any cars on it, but it's still pretty cool to see as we watch Ethan Stanley working his way around the racetrack. Another tool we found at one point was the ability to show the cars, but for some reason, especially with Lake Norman, it might be how they painted the car. The windows and everything are all covered up in vinyl. So
They
you
forgot
can't.
to take the tape off.
That's
before they
exactly.
took
I
the
wonder if
photo.
it's the same with Tyler Fode's car.
Yep. Oh, nope. He's got black tape.
He's got black, so. Ethan Stanley, we just looked at him. Caleb Pecumer driving the white car. Yeah, see? They just forgot to take the tape off. That's definitely
That is
interesting.
helpful, though, at night mode, because I know my old eyes, I can't pick up the LED lights on the side to know what car I'm looking at. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. As we see Archie Coveney leading the way, Hamilton Akabuize second. And if you guys are in the chat here tonight, why don't you help us figure out this? What, you know what, Dave, it is? It is Ireland. UK and Ireland is what the I stands for. Because if you look at the flag here, right next to Archie's car, that's Ireland. So, never mind. We don't need your help, folks. As
They are two separate countries.
That they are. That they are. Andrew Way currently out there in the Square Motorsports machine. Himself and Brant Johnson are running tributes to the Pink Pig tonight. Not sure what that means, but that's what they're doing. So that's a message I got from Brant Johnson earlier.
Gotta spell it right. Pink Pig.
Pink Pig, Dave. Pink Pig. PIG as Brant Johnson goes off
It's a barbecue
the racetrack
place in
again.
Georgia.
I don't think Brant Johnson's going to Georgia.
It's Cherry Log, Georgia. I wonder how close that is to Road Atlanta.
Cherry Log, Georgia. I don't think we saw it on the track map earlier that we had. Is it Cherry Rock? Maybe it's right next door.
I don't know.
So we take a look at Mark Murphy out there on the racetrack. He's about to be in a battle for position. Look at old Mark catching up to the Pink Pig himself, Brant Johnson. Brant's a fine fellow, by the way. Very nice guy. Hope to see him in our open wheel series shortly, and hopefully everyone else can see him eventually in that series too, Dave. Hopefully. We gotta get Chad's friends at that series on it with iRacing. See what we can do about getting access to those cars again.
Okay, from what I could tell, the Pink Pig is a Atlanta type tradition from 1953. Priscilla the Pink Pig made her debut as a children's train ride. So the Pink Pig train still runs today.
That sounds fun.
1996. In 2003, they had the return of the tradition when a new version of Priscilla the Pink Pig debuted at Rich's store in Lenox Square in Atlanta. So if that's what he's talking about, it's Rich's Pink Pig.
I gotta back this up here and show you what just happened. I don't know if you saw this. Watch the taillights here on the back car. That's Ethan Stanley going around his team owner, Tyler Fode. That is a pass in the grass.
And you know they got to be in Discord together. Why can't it be, take it on the right? So
Yeah. I think he thought the left side was going to be open for him, but he's just like, nope, I'm going to go in the grass. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. As we mentioned, a camera that shows behind the trees, that one did.
that gives them something to discuss in the debrief. So
Yeah, absolutely. You think the debrief might get heated when they figure out that could have cost Ethan Stanley a position on the racetrack?
could be.
Archie Coveney leads over Hamilton Akabuize by 30 seconds as we have 28 minutes to go. Sean Ryan leading by 21 seconds over Tyler Fode. The official count on the clock, 28 minutes and 25 seconds at this point, as Mark Murphy jetting around the lap traffic, trying to catch up again to Brant Johnson, see if he can get himself another position out there on the racetrack. Doesn't look like he can just yet, as Corey Abbott trying to close in on David Bush the third. Abbott currently running in position number 4 here tonight. His teammate His driver, Sean Ryan, leading the way. There goes Hamilton Akabuize. Like I said earlier, every car we switch to, Hamilton just appears out of nowhere. It's like the Magic Man. So he goes by David Bush with... That is an exceptional amount of lights on the front end of that David Bush machine. Not sure if you saw that, David. Yeah, it looks like he's running some custom lights. It's like a UFO just coasting around the racetrack on the David Bush machine. Corey Abbott has an acceptable amount of headlights on that car. Caleb Pecumer, this guy, another name that I don't know if you know of, Dave, but he is a new driver here for Lake Norman Motorsports. Hope to see him driving in some of our stock car stuff this year. Actually, one of Tyler Fode's co-workers back home at the Porsche dealership. Of course, they're driving a Porsche out here on the racetrack.
So Fode works? I thought he just drove cars like 24/7.
No, that's Scott Crump, as per Fode. But no, Fode, he does work at a Porsche dealership, and I believe it was last week he flew out to another state to get some extra certification. So pretty cool. Cool to see Tyler working his way up in that industry and having a good night here tonight. Currently a little bit behind where he needs to be when it comes to that title in the GT3 class, but still a lot of racing left to go. Coming up on just 26 minutes remaining. Coveney has the lead by 32.5 and is holding that steady. Sean Ryan 22.8, also holding that steady. Everyone else pretty much just trying to stay on the lead lap in the respective class. So pretty cool to see the absolute dominance by the championship contenders here tonight. And Chad Frankfield did tell me that he was going to rush to get our results ready here this evening. So hopefully we get those final standings as soon as possible. Of course, as always, we'll talk to the class winners as Hamilton goes off the racetrack. He gathers it back up and rejoins right away. But we'll talk to the class winners as well as the champions, which could be the same person, depending on how the race goes.
Chad's going to have enough gap over the person behind him. He could probably pull off early and get that taken care of, you think?
He probably could. His gap over the car behind him is 8 laps. So Chad could pull off here. Pull off in about 15 minutes and still have a bit of time left before the rest of the field. David Bush went off the racetrack and it looked like his trunk was bouncing a little bit. So maybe backed it into the wall potentially there, but we'll see with that machine as Coveney goes on by. He's getting lit up. Sean Ryan has gone off the racetrack. That is your GT3 race and championship leader, Sean Ryan, that just went off the racetrack. So big moment there, but he didn't actually lose anything.
8 seconds, didn't he? I thought they were at 30.
No, they were at 22. Meanwhile, Coveney was at 30. So I think Fode had an issue as well. As Mark Murphy telling Hamilton where to go. Lets Hamilton know to go on the left side.
That could be taken a couple different ways.
Not in that way. Mark, not afraid to tell people either way, but not in this situation, Dave. Just an update here. Retirements in the event tonight. Colin Culpa, Austin Bulkey, Hunter Smith, Justin Vandermeer, Jared Rexing, and of course Troy Banks did not start. Jordan Owens seems to be just looked like he was going slow, but he's able to gather that machine up and start charging back forward. Pecumer gets passed by, I believe that to be Brant Johnson. Yes, it is. As Brant Johnson continues on, currently running position number 7 here tonight. So that's exactly where he started. And just so you know, Dave, the top 5 in GTP all started in the top 5. The only positions that have changed are Bridwell and Stanley swapped positions. So these drivers kind of staying where they started here tonight. GT3, that's all kinds of messed up. Sean Ryan up 3 positions. Tyler Fode up 3. Or Abbott up 6. Bush up 8. Pecumer up 2. So quite the night here for these drivers. As Fode apparently needs some britches. He just got passed. I believe that was Hamilton Akabuize that just went by him, of course. Actually, no, that was Chad Frankenfield that just went by Fode once again. They haven't come together yet, Dave.
They should be passing, what, about every 8 or 9 laps? They should make another lap of the GT3s.
That's exactly it. I mean,
About 12-second difference.
Fode got passed by Chad. Oh, Mark Murphy trying to get coffee for Tyler Fode. He's ordered some coffee to the 40 machine, so get your favorite coffee. I know my favorite coffee. I'm not going to mention it, but my favorite coffee, check out my Twitter. I'll tell you over there. Archie Company.
Sponsors?
It is one of my sponsors.
Canadian coffee company.
It is one of my sponsors, Dave.
How come all the sponsors we have in Elite never send us anything good? Did you ever get anything from them?
I have.
When we had the smoked meats from Tyler Dixon, I was like, every week that stuff sounded so good, talking about the meats and the seasoning, and not once did I ever get to taste it.
You know, some of my colleagues with Podium Esports, they do the Coke series, the NASCAR iRacing Coke series that is on every week. They get Wendy's, they get Coke, they get every Coca-Cola, folks. They get all of that before every race. Every race. Where's Chad to work out these deals for us, Dave?
Chad be sending us Uber Eats.
And then he'd invoice it back to us. As Archie Company continues to dominate tonight's race, 35 seconds ahead of Hamilton Akabuize. The only other cars on the lead lap, Andrew Way, Jarrett Bridwell, and Ethan Stanley, but just barely. Stanley and Bridwell should go a lap down here within the next 2 to 3 laps, I would say. So it's going to be close for these guys to have a chance to remain in the top 5. They could pick it up. You never know, but it's gonna be interesting anyways.
Can we go on board with Akabuize and just take a lap, see what he deals with in a lap traffic?
Absolutely, we're gonna ride on board here with Hamilton Akabuize.
I also kind of wanted to get an idea of the realism for a man my age, and if you are my age, you'll understand this. I don't see as well at night as I used to, so I kind of wondered what it looked like in the car.
See what I mean about these blind corners, Dave? You go through one and all of a sudden you don't know where you're going.
Of course, we'll pick a lap where he doesn't catch any lap traffic.
This is Sean Ryan, by the way, a bit of a dramatic
Another
moment.
off.
As we'll jump back to Hamilton Akabuize. That was Sean Ryan, GT3 race and championship leader, off the racetrack once again. And again, he didn't lose anything. It's like he's picking the right spot to go off the racetrack. Maybe it's like a joker.
We have had that issue in a couple of, I don't know if it was this series, but a couple of road courses where people would abuse the rules in iRacing and shortcut the track all the time.
I believe that was Montreal, was it not?
Yeah, surely we don't have that where he knows where he can go off and not get a slowdown.
I doubt it, because I believe there's a penalty for incidents. I'm not sure. I know for the first race we had a incident cap that these drivers were up against, but I'm not sure that that's the case. I think he's just struggling in that set of corners, as we do see Sean Ryan here. Now you see that he has lost 2 seconds to Tyler Fode. Fode still has to work his way back up. Bridwell had an off-track moment there real quick as Pecumer gonna catch up to Sean Ryan, try to put himself on the lead lap of GT3s if he gets by. But definitely interesting to see the continuous issues in what appears to be the same set of corners for Sean Ryan. I believe it's just that it's a very, very blind corner, that he's just not necessarily hitting it as he should.
I'm not sure that we would implement it, but this series could implement a little bit of realism in that the way we run it here in iRacing, we're never going to get a caution. They're off the track and they're towed before anything happens. But in real IMSA racing, you do get a lot of yellow flags, and they bunch up the field, and it gives you the close racing back again.
I'd love to see, because if we do get track blockers in this series, we will throw a caution flag for it, but there hasn't really been any of those as of yet.
No, you would have to do something where
like
you
a random flag
control,
or something.
Yeah. Or give race control the ability to make a judgment call that if you saw an accident that in real life would cause debris cleanup, or they'd have to fix a barrier, you could call that a caution. Something that's not just a small off or a small touch, but something that's good hard impact somewhere.
That absolutely would be an interesting idea for sure. Something to re-rack and restack the field, kind of give these drivers an opportunity to get back together, do another restart, throw in another curveball into the events. And one thing I think would be interesting is most likely next time we run this series, we'll have rain, as that was Ethan Stanley that had a lockup right there in his GTP machine. But next time we run the series, we'll likely have rain on the service. I believe it's due in March at this point. It just got pushed back.
Being so optimistic.
I mean, we've been working on it for years. They've been talking about rain for years, so I think it's just a couple of areas of coding needed to be adjusted. Maybe some of the dynamics that we deal with when under wet conditions. So it'll be interesting.
I still haven't
anyways.
seen anything listed as to how it's going to be implemented, though. I mean, it'll obviously be something you'd have to almost choose as you choose a session.
Oh,
but
you would for sure.
Is it? But are you just making it a possible? I mean, do you set it to random rain, or do you make it rain from the start and it rains the whole time? So that'd be interesting.
That I'm not sure. I mean, they could potentially make it where you set like a % chance of precipitation or something, where you throw in, oh yeah, it's 70% chance that it's going to rain in this session, but there's still that 30% chance that it doesn't. I think I'd much rather that.
I've heard chatter about them having something where your spotter or your pit crew would tell you that chance of rain in so many minutes, or that looking like rain in turn 3 or something like that. So maybe it'll have a little bit of randomness to it, which would be pretty cool.
And I mean, I do have some experience as a spotter working in the NASCAR Canada Series, and being up on the roof, you can see the weather coming in off in the distance, and that's exactly what you do. You'd relay that message down to the team and to the driver. Yeah, buddy, rain is 5 miles out or whatever it might be. And that could definitely be something that we end up seeing when rain comes in, and a series like this would definitely be a series that I'd love to see the rain implemented. You're not going to see it much in the stock car side of things, so if you're going to see it in Elite at all, it's most likely either going to be during a stock car road course race where we would have the wipers and whatnot, or in the sports car series, which I think would be really cool to just throw a monsoon race at these drivers.
Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say there are some track car combos where it's not even going to be an option, hopefully.
Yeah, let's just throw a rain race at dirt.
Well, you don't want to make those overzealous league owners put rain on an oval like St. Louis, and sometimes accidents happen when people are setting up lobbies, right? So.
Well, I believe NASCAR was talking about potentially trying out wet weather on short tracks. in the real world, which I think would be interesting, but definitely not something I would want to participate in. I've driven a race in the rain before, Dave, on slick tires. I didn't have any rain tires, and I drove right into the back of a car that was nearly stopped ahead of me, and it pretty much destroyed my car, so that was not too fun.
12 minutes to go here.
Yeah, 12 minutes remain, 34 seconds between Coveney and Akabuize. Andrew Way, 58 seconds back. A minute 6 back to Jared Bridwell. And then Ethan Stanley and Justin Fortner, 1 lap down each. That is GTP. In GT3, it's Sean Ryan leading the way by 22 seconds over Tyler Fode. Corey Abbott now third in class, a minute back. Everyone else a lap or more to the rear of Sean Ryan and Tyler Fode. So they do have a battle of their own. It is Caleb Pecumer and David Bush III. That was the battle right there. Pecumer able to clear, works his way up to 4th in class. David Bush just behind. That is Archie Coveney that's blinking his way through the crowd. Able to work his way forward now to the right side of Pecumer. So we come around, time on the clock, 11 minutes, 25 seconds remain. And Coveney, oh, Pecumer!
Ooh,
Pecumer with a big boomer right there.
See, that would be a caution, right? So.
Oh, that would absolutely be a caution. And just for Ryan Gavel, we would probably send him to Halifax after that impact. Take a look at what just happened to Pecumer. That was quite the incident there for the driver that was running 4th in class. Just steps out on him, nails that wall, and then backs into the wall as well. So front and rear end damage for Caleb Pecumer. Now he's going to do some landscaping. Wow. That was quite the moment for Caleb Pecumer as Archie Coveney gonna sneak on by Jordan Owens. That's Owens just behind him in the Castrol machine. Got Liquimolly on the windshield as well. Not like the Fig Newton style of Ricky Bobby, but a proper windshield banner. Bridwell and Way both having by far their best runs that we've seen in this series, so great to see that. Ethan Stanley, Justin Fortner both up there around the top 5, 5th and 6th respectively, so good runs for them. Sean Ryan, Tyler Fode, Corey Abbott with his best run of the series for sure, currently 3rd in class. As he gets passed by, that's Chad Frankenfield right there.
Chad's now on the same lap as Mark. What's the gap between the two of them?
The gap between Mark Murphy and Chad Frankenfield is 59.8 seconds, Dave.
And how are they doing lap times?
Taking a look at lap times last time by, Mark Murphy was 0.2 quicker than Chad Frankenfield. As Hamilton has an off-track moment, able to gather it back up. I have a feeling Chad's not going to be catching up to Mark Murphy, but you never know.
No, that math would go the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
You'd be falling farther behind. Trying to find some on-track action wherever I could there. Could be team order.
Closest battle on the racetrack is 6 seconds. Jared Bridwell chasing down Andrew Way. That is the absolute closest battle that we have on our racetrack currently. Nobody else really anywhere near each other. Let's pick a random driver to go on board with here for a lap. I'm going to go on board with Caleb Pecumer. He just ate the wall from the front and the rear end, and let's see how this car's handling. not very
A
well.
little car image there, and we'll see if we can see a little bit of this twin. There you go.
It doesn't look like it's handling too well. We'll throw up the dashboard here. And it pulled his car back up. We don't want to see the car, Dave. As we're inside the car.
Oh, around it goes.
Look at that. We just got a bonus gift. It's Christmas. Just about. And he decided to give us a spin behind the wheel of that number 59 machine.
Austin Powers 10-point turn here.
Definitely a movie highlight. That 10-point turn. As we see Ethan Stanley go by, Mark Murphy, Justin Fortner had a brief off-track moment. He gathers that back up and continues on. Oh, he pulled a cone with him. These guys have assaulted the orange cone here tonight, Dave. It is absolutely unbearable, the amount of pain and suffering that they have caused that little orange traffic cone this evening. He's gone for rides around the racetrack. They're definitely going to have to get that cone back and reset. I bet you, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I bet you the cone is back in position by the time Justin Fortner works his way back around the racetrack.
Yeah, those track workers are fast. You don't even see them get out there.
They are magic. Literal magic. Snapped their fingers as Corey Abbott decided to go off the racetrack. Not sure why he decided to do that. Running third in class, decided, well, Mark Murphy's been landscaping all night. Let's go test out his work. So Abbott rejoins the field. Pecumer went off the racetrack as well. Don't know that he had much choice. Sean Ryan going to follow what his boss did in the exact same corner. He goes off the racetrack as well. Dave, I do wonder if maybe there's a slight gain that happens in that set of corners, because we've seen a couple drivers do it here tonight. As David Bush goes off the racetrack, is he in the same? No, he's not gaining nothing right there, as he struggles to get around that corner. Archie Coveney going to meet up with Brent Johnson here momentarily. A couple of our foreign drivers here in tonight's race driving together on the racetrack. Just a couple laps difference, though. About 4. As we come around, we are just about 5 minutes to go in tonight's race, in tonight's season finale, and in this series, of course. As Coveney, Akabuize, Way, and Bridwell remain the only cars on the lead lap. Bridwell about 6 seconds behind Andrew Way. We'll see if there's a way that he can work his way. I just said
No
way
way.
too many times right there. Now I'm just stuck in a loop. I'm like a broken record at this point. Bridwell was a little bit quicker than Way. Nope, now he's a second slower. So not going to catch him, most likely. Jordan Owens pulls it pit side in his number 12 machine, currently running 6th in class.
Oh,
Somebody just decided to take a shortcut. That's the boss man, Chad Frankenfield, as he goes off the racetrack. He is doing the points just ahead of Brant Johnson there.
Phone in one hand, wheel in the other.
One thing I love in this series, opposed to our NASCAR series, Dave, is the accents that we get from our foreign drivers, such as Coveney and Johnson, that join us from the UK and Australia, respectively, with a bit of a different accent than what we get with some of our southern boys.
Yeah, and it's a shame sometimes that we can't broadcast the driver chat. It's just too risky, but yeah, there's some fun stuff that gets said and some great personalities in our drivers too.
Oh, there's some
really come out in the driver
phenomenal
chat.
personalities. Oh my gosh.
Shortcut.
That's the same corner.
Yep.
Again, I'd like to...
Same car.
It is the same car. He did not do a vehicle change between last lap and this one. with Sean Ryan in the 16 machine. Pecumer just went off the racetrack as well. He rejoins just behind the Brent Johnson machine. That's Corey Abbott just ahead of him. Abbott running third in class in the GT3s. Some blinking going on there from Pecumer to Abbott. Ethan Stanley. Ethan did not win the race, folks, despite the fact that he's doing some burnouts there. We'll see what happened to him on the Robilus Photography replay machine. Andrew Wade just pit from third in class in GTP.
Oh, he just missed that corner.
He just completely missed
down
it.
To the apex.
Jared Bridwell claims third on the racetrack in GTP as Andrew Way forced to come to pit road. Looks like he's out of fuel in that machine. Very slow coming to his pit box. So unfortunate
Under a
there.
minute left.
A minute 53 remain in this event. So we are definitely getting down to the final moments of tonight's event. Likely 2 laps to go. Should face the white flag. Not next time by, I don't believe. Depends on how much time remains when Coveney does come around. He's currently working his way. No, we should still have 2 to go this time because Coveney is going to come around momentarily and face the popsicle sticks on the racetrack. As there he does come, goes by the start-finish line. Actually, he's going to go by the start-finish line just about now, I do believe. We are 2 to go. 2 laps remain, despite our tower saying 0 to go. That just means we're under a minute remaining in real time, but the fact is we do have a white flag that has not yet been displayed. Once that white flag comes out, then that'll mean 1 to go. And Coveney should face that momentarily. Sean Ryan goes off the racetrack in the same part of the track once again. Very peculiar that happened.
I'll have to ask him about that in your interview.
Yeah, we'll ask him about his struggles with that corner as Coveney comes around. This time the white flag should be displayed. Just 5 seconds remaining in regulation time. Best lap of the race at 106.813 for Archie Coveney that time, as the white flag should be out on the racetrack. I do believe it is. It is not.
Somebody forget to turn on white flag.
We just don't. We only bought 1 flag tonight. The checkers. That was it. We didn't bring the white. We didn't bring the yellow. That's interesting. As Coveney continues his way around.
Just keep going, boys.
Yeah, we're gonna do a 24 hours of Road Atlanta here tonight, guys. Mark Murphy goes off the racetrack. He gathers it back up. We're watching Archie Coveney here. He's going to come around. And we're going to jump to... checkered is being displayed this time. So we must have missed the white flag. It's telling me checkers. And I do believe that was checkers. Very odd that it didn't tell us anything about a white flag coming out here, Dave. But Archie Coveney takes the win here in GTP. Hamilton Akabuize gonna come around and claim second. I do believe that should lock up the championship for him in this class. We're watching now. That is Sean Ryan gonna come around, and he's gonna take the win in GT3. But I do believe he should have the championship locked up as well. So we should be talking Archie Coveney, Hamilton Akabuize, and Sean Ryan here in the next few minutes as we work to get those drivers over here and set for their interviews about tonight's race. And I'm sure we're going to have some excited drivers to talk to us momentarily. Tyler Fode still finishing up tonight's event, has not crossed the start finish line as of yet, and I do believe he did just cross. So that'll do it for tonight's race. We're going to step away once again, and when we come back, we'll have a chat with our winning driver Archie Coveney, as well as our champions Sean Ryan, and I do believe Hamilton Akabuize, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens here momentarily, but we'll be right back.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Road Atlanta. It is very dark out there on the racetrack, but good thing the racing is over for the night. We're going to go ahead and speak with our race winner here this evening, Archie Coveney, momentarily about his race and the season as a whole. Archie Coveney, it's Robert Hill Jr. up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I certainly do.
What a drive you had tonight. Dominated the race. I believe you led every single lap from the start of the race through to the checkered flag. And, you know, you did everything that you had to do tonight to have at least a shot at getting that title away from Hamilton. But looking back at the season as a whole, I think you still have to be pretty darn proud of what you accomplished out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, certainly. It was a bit disappointing, but I think the result for me is just this race. I could do my best was just win, and I had to have Hamilton make some sort of mistake, which he did do, but he managed to recover, and he had been solid all season, so hats off to him. But I think we had some good battles, and it was a fairly short series as well, so I thought we had a decent show put on, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at your season as a whole, your worst finish was third, coming just at Sebring. You finished second at Watkins Glen and Daytona as well. So not really anything to be too upset about. But of course, Hamilton winning 3 rounds definitely makes it a little bit tougher. But tonight's race, what was the biggest challenge you faced? We saw a lot of blind corners, a lot of interesting moments with some of the lap traffic. But from the driver's seat of that 9T machine, what was the toughest thing for you?
I would just have to say, first things like tire warm up, as we saw with Hamilton, a lot of the curbs over here, on cold tires, it will just spin the car out with zero warning. So the first couple laps, I was just so cautious, and after the pit stops as well, and it's like it can end your race in a second. So the tire warm up for me is probably the hardest challenge. But after that, the traffic, both GTDs and GTPs, it's quite difficult to read sometimes what they're going to do, and you can kind of trip over each other. There wasn't too much of that tonight, but yeah, I managed to get through unscathed.
Definitely lucky to get through that unscathed. But before we get to your final sponsor shoutouts here tonight, can we expect to see you on the racetrack in a few weeks when our open wheel series kicks back off?
Oh, I would love to. I'll have to have a look what the dates are. I really enjoyed what I could do of the season this year just gone, but I've just started my degree at uni, so and obviously for me at the minute it's nearly 3 a.m. So it's quite tough doing these series as much as I do enjoy them with Elite. I'll have a look, of course, because I love all things IndyCar. So but obviously I kind of committed to this because there's only 4 rounds. But I'll definitely take a look. Hopefully, if I've got the time, I will try and do it.
Well, we would certainly love to see you out there on the racetrack with us. And before we let you go here tonight, any sponsors you want to thank or shout outs you want to give?
Just the team, and also Jared, who raced alongside me this season. Did a good job, got third, and yeah, had good fun racing with him.
Well, congratulations on your win here tonight and a great season. And like I mentioned, we hope to see you out here in a few weeks.
Thanks a lot.
That was Archie Coveney, your overall winner here tonight. And now we'll talk to the winner of the GT3 race and championship, Sean Ryan. Hey, Sean, it's Robert Hill Jr. up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Congratulations on the victory here tonight and the championship in the GT3. You mentioned entering tonight that you had to finish fourth or better. You got the pole, making that a little bit easier for you, and then you dominated the race in GT3. Why don't you walk us through your night and maybe some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, I mean, I was very happy with my pace in practice, and then showed up into qualifying, and it carried through. I was, I think, 3/10 faster than Fody in qualifying for the pole spot, and you know, I've always been a big believer at Road Atlanta to make sure that you have track position for the first time that the traffic comes through. So try to build a gap as quick as possible and stay up in front. And then I think by the time the first cars came through, I had like a 4-second gap and just kind of never came back down. I think at the end of the race it was a 20-second gap, and I was pushing to get fast laps there at the end. I think I got an 18.8 as my fastest lap of the race, but pretty calm race. LMDHs were kind to me, and I was kind to them where I could be, and yeah, we did what set out to do and brought it home.
Well, you picked up the championship win by 12 points over Tyler Fody. 2 wins on the season, top fives in every event, and you actually ended up coming home second overall, just 3 points behind Hamilton Akabuize. So very, very strong season for you. I know it's a little bit of a different monster going from this to the stock car side of Elite, but how do you carry the momentum forward from this championship win into those other series?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll be in trucks next season for the first time in about a year. Took a took a solid break from oval racing, but coming back next season, looking forward to it. Completely different animal. I mean, the trucks drive, and stock cars in general drive, completely different. There's no traction control. There's no ABS. It's, you and an engine, and it's all about tire management and racing close in a pack, and it's just a totally different beast, but it's fun all the same. hoping that my momentum through the sports cars can carry me into trucks. I always seem to be in like the top 10 conversations, and I've made playoffs before, but I've never actually been at the front of those stock car races. So hopefully we can turn that around next season and maybe end up in victory lane on an oval.
Because you do have a win at Lime Rock, I do believe, a couple years ago in the truck. So looking for that win on the oval, that would definitely be a nice spot for you. But Sean, before we let you go here tonight for the final time this season, why don't you give some shout outs to the people that make it happen for you?
Yeah, no, I'd like to thank Corey Abbott putting the team together as always. He does a great job and makes it fun over there for the guys. Andrew Hardcastle did my paint. Always love the work that he puts out. He puts a lot of care into it, and I think they turn out pretty stellar. And to the rest of the guys at Abbott Motorsports for hanging out and just making it fun to come to the racetrack every week. It's been a blast.
And actually, before I let you go, I believe Dave Huckleberry would slap me if I didn't ask you this question. But we saw you do a bit of off-roading a couple times in the same corner. Were you struggling in? I believe it was a downhill section of the racetrack here towards the end tonight.
Uh, was I struggling? Yes and no. I was at the end there just going for ego laps. I was trying to see how fast I could make a lap time and ended up pushing some corners a bit too much. Fortunately, I never pushed myself into the wall, but some of those corners, if you're not perfectly on the line, then it's very easy to fall off. But there's a lot of runoff, so it's just seeing how far I could push the limit, and was just going for a fast lap.
Well, you definitely put on a show here tonight, Sean. Congratulations on the win and the title, and we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks with the stock cars once again.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate the broadcasts.
That was Sean Ryan, your GT3 champion here tonight. And finally, your GTP overall champion, Hamilton Akabuize, back with us once again. Hamilton, it's Robert Hill Jr. up here in the booth. You got a copy.
Hello.
Hamilton, you got the title, but came up a little bit short in the race here tonight. Why don't you walk us through what happened early on? You ended up sideways on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't done laps here since Petit Le Mans. I probably should have done some practice before the session went up, but I was not used to the caddies, the power band. It's really sharp through there, I'd say. And like compared to the BMW, which is what I've been driving. So it wheel hopped a little bit, and the wheels they spin up so much on the caddy. I wasn't ready for it. Went around. Luckily, got really lucky to not hit anything. But yeah.
Definitely got lucky not to hit the wall or get hit from a car behind you. So luckily, everyone did avoid you there. But looking back at your season as a whole, 3 wins, a second place is your worst finish. So that's not too bad at all. But what's the bright moment of the season for you, or something that really stands out?
I mean, that Daytona finish for sure. That was awesome. Being able to run them down and then have it end up that close after an hour and a half was great fun.
Definitely a bright moment for sure. Coming back from, I believe you were 20 plus seconds back and able to steal the victory there at the end. So that was pretty memorable for sure. Looking forward, obviously, this is the end of the sports car series for this season. What's on the agenda for you coming up? Are you gonna try to take part in some of our other series?
I've been thinking about doing IndyCar. That's what I mainly race in other leagues and things. So probably, well, I think I'll sign up for that for sure. And then if y'all do this again, of course I'll do that. So yeah.
We would definitely love to see you out here in the IndyCar and, of course, back in the sports car once again. And Dave and I had this conversation. You're a sports car guy, so how do you feel about the rain that's going to be coming out now in a couple months? It did get pushed out, but how do you feel about racing in the rain?
Oh, I mean, I love racing in the rain. I think that'll be awesome. I was really hoping for it for Daytona. That would have been fantastic, but take what you can get. Hopefully for Petit Le Mans or something like that.
That would be pretty darn cool. But Hamilton, for the final time this season, any shout outs you want to give? And the floor is yours.
I'd say shout out to Archie for the awesome racing all season. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting it and stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, congratulations on the title and a dominant season here in the Elite Sports Car Series. And we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks with the Indy cars.
Yeah, see you guys then.
That was your Elite Sports Car Series GTP champion. And Dave, before we head off for the night, again, I want to thank you for joining me. And any final thoughts from you?
No, that was fun to watch. I enjoy these cars, and I think they put on a great show.
Yeah, definitely a great show indeed. Congratulations to tonight's race winner, Archie Coveney, our champions, Sean Ryan and Hamilton Akabuize. Great seasons by both drivers and everyone in the field. Great to see drivers like Jared Bridwell, Andrew Way up here in the top 5. Of course, Ethan Stanley as well. And Corey Abbott down there finishing third behind Tyler Fode and Sean Ryan. Nice to see him up there as well. And some new faces that we hope will stick around for quite some time here in the Elite Racing League. But on behalf of Dave Huckleberry, Chris Wright, who usually joins me, Chad Frankenfield, who puts this on, all the admins behind the scenes, of course, Blue League Marketing, and Worldwide Technology Raceway, TA Services, and Robilis Photography for being our replay sponsor. Got to thank all of you for tuning in as well. And, well,
hey, Robert.
That's it. Yeah, go ahead, Chad. Dave.
Don't call me that. You know what that means now. Where are we at now? What's this now called? Championship week.
That's it.
Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, we crown 3 champions.
You're right. Sunday night, the Truck Series finale. What track are we at for that one, Dave?
Oh, you asked me the tough question. I don't know. Go to the next one.
Monday night, we're going to head to, I believe it's Richmond, for the championship finale.
We're at Homestead. We're at Homestead on Sunday.
Homestead Sunday night for the Truck Series. Richmond Monday night. And I believe Richmond as well for the Cup Series on Wednesday night.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. All right. We're going to go to Charlotte, the home of NASCAR.
Homestead, Richmond, and Charlotte.
The hub of NASCAR at Charlotte. So that should be a good one. And then that'll wrap up our main stuff for 2023. But, of course, we do have the Winter Derby coming up. That's in a few weeks as well. Be sure to check out Elite Racing League over on Twitter and Facebook and wherever else Chad posts to tell you all about what's going on. So you can be sure to take part in those events and in our 2024 season, which kicks off, well, in about a month and a half. So we're not too far away from getting right back into it. But again, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this event and all season long. And we'll catch you on Sunday night with the Truck Series finale live from Homestead. Have a good night, everybody.